to Beacon Hills, the podcast following all things Teen Wolf. I am your co-host, Dawn.
I'm Lilith.
And today we're talking about the episode 4.3, Muted. And I have to say that's an apt name. Generally, when I leave an episode thinking, what just happened here? It's because I'm noodling over some major plot twist that came at me in the last 3 minutes. This time I wanted to know if anything happened until the last 3 minutes. Let's just say that Muted put the teen back in Teen Wolf, and it was not a good thing.
I concur, ma'am. I'm confused. I'm sad. I'm heartbroken. I have a lot of emotions going on.
I want to know why we used it in a 12 episode season.
Yes.
We really don't have much time, and we're almost done. We're a quarter of the way through the season, and thus far, nothing's really happened. And this episode is all about what isn't happening. So let's get into our basics. This episode, we had a 0.7 in demo and 1.554 in our rating, or in our viewers. And that is the exact same demo and pretty much the exact same viewers that we had last time. So basically, we are still on the track for where we were in season 2. So, what do we know about the writers, the directors, and the overall synopsis?
Tim Andrew, who's a regular directing, and we had Alyssa Clark. She's written a few things as well. She's not as prominent, but she's been there before. So the synopsis is we spend some time with a young boy who runs halfway naked and barefoot, and was my first marker on the bingo map because he was shirtless through town to the hospital. We get a glimpse at a really creepy villain, question mark? Because it's Teen Wolf and you never know.
He seems to have some good motivation for killing the people he did.
Exactly. Then we cut to Derek and Peter as they hire Brayden to track down Kate. And then we spend most of the time at school dealing with Styles and Scott going out for lacrosse, as well as Malia's phobia of math.
Kyra's insecurity.
Oh, so bad. Yeah, and then so the crux of the episode happens when Styles and Scott, mostly Scott, inadvertently hurt the new kid Liam's leg in tryouts. They take him to the hospital. Scott gets a call from Lydia. You have to find the boy. And he does. Just mid-attack on Melissa, and Scott goes alpha. Chases him to the top, and of course, Liam gets caught in the crossfire, and my little heart is broken about Scott making his first beta and the way that it just went down.
I'm going to say my not-so-little heart is furiously pounding because I didn't like Liam in the 10 minutes we got him before. We can't get rid of him.
Dawn, starting off the episode controversial again.
I don't need new kids. I don't want new kids. We already have too many characters. They don't get enough screen time as it is. Today we start with favorites first, just like always.
I guess I'm going to start with the very small stuff this week, and it's going to be when Kyra's mom yells at her after they find the slashed up for sale sign. I'm not talking about Kyra's reaction. I'm talking about just how her mother calls, Kyra!
I do love how she says her name.
So classic. Like, ooh, you in trouble.
Number 14 for me. All of the previous characters that were mentioned. They mentioned Jackson, they mentioned Isaac, we got a mention of Argent, even though we haven't seen him back yet. So it was kind of like, aw, that's sweet.
They forgot Boyd, but whatever. Oh, something that I thought was just absolutely adorable was Malia was looking to Kyra for social cues. So many things wrong on that, just that statement alone, but it was really cute. During the lacrosse practice, she looks at Kyra, she's like, oh, and then she does it again, and she's like, she frowns. And then she gets happy again. It was just like, Kyra's the wrong person to be learning social cues from. But good idea, Malia. If you don't know how to act, just look around and try to gauge everybody else.
Oh, I thought it was funny too. I especially thought it was funny because she kind of reminded me of me whenever people are talking about sporting events that I care not one iota about. Number 13 for me is the best moment of the night, which is Styles and Scott's chest bump. I just thought it was a good, solidarity thing. And Styles goes flying, so, continuity.
Excuse me, this is a fangirl alert moment.
No.
Liam's stepdad is a hottie, and he's a doctor, but he's taken by Liam's mom, apparently.
He is hot.
When he was talking to Melissa in the opening scene, I was like, oh, what we got here? What's going on?
You weren't the only one who was thinking that. Number 12 for me. Coach finally gets Styles' name right. Yay him!
See, I got a theory about that.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, when he got shot with the arrow, his life flashed before his eyes, and he figured that was just extra seconds off his life that he just decided he wanted to keep. Because I did notice that as well.
Okay, that works. I thought it was fun. And Coach is going to be way high up there in my list of what was right about this episode, so.
Literally number 2 for me.
Me too!
Oh, darn. We're a mess. The next thing I think I want to talk about is just in the general sense that Mama McCall and Papa Stalinsky got some screen time, but also that they got character interaction together.
That's number 5 on my list. I love that scene. Love that quote.
I love that quote too, but that's separate.
And so going to number 11 is a quote, my favorite Lydia quote of the night. And she goes, "And sweetheart, put away the claws."
Yes!
Beautiful. I like the idea of Lydia and Malia interacting, not in a jealous love triangle icky way, but I like that, first off, they're smart enough to know that Lydia's the best tutor for Malia.
For all of them, apparently.
Yes. And then I like that she realizes that Malia is out of control and pretty much is like, okay, here's the answer. Calm yourself down.
I just love Lydia because, okay, so you remember the last time that they were in math class and she was at the board and, like, she solved the answer and everybody made it a big deal, and I'm like, wait a minute, isn't that just the FOIL and factory method? That's not that hard. She really made it seem like it was something, so this kind of redeemed Lydia on the math front for me. Even though no way Malia should be, or Styles should be in a math class with Lydia, just
yeah, that's in the problems with the episode pile.
I left the educational misconduct out of mine. We'd be here all day.
Oh yeah. Well, I when I saw that scene, it reminded me of when Lydia was at the board in season 1, and Scott was at the board too. She's sitting there just doing the problem, going to town. Scott's looking at it like it's a foreign language, and she's like railing him about not being on the, like, skipping lacrosse and how, he had to be there and win because he put Jackson basically in the hospital. I thought, this reminds me exactly of a season 1 episode that I saw. It might even have dating. Who knows? It was like season 1 all over again.
Which is so odd since they keep telling me we can't go back.
Exactly. That is a main part of my recap. Seriously, I even wrote down the tagline. And they're talking about how you have to go forward, you can't go back. And this entire episode is back. Back.
It was reverse psychology, Dawn. Okay, the next thing that got me actually, like, genuinely and legitimately excited, it looks like the eye thing just might get explained after all.
Probably will. Most importantly, it brought Brayden back, so.
We saved that for later, Dawn!
Yes, we do. Sorry. That's way up there, too.
I like that they're trying to clear out the Cave of Drop plot points, 1 question per 8 episodes.
1 question per season gets chucked back out of the cave.
And it's always the eyes. Like, really, think about it. Derek's, we get a whole flashback dedicated to Derek's eye color. Jeff, do you have an eye fetish? And Russell has the hand fetish. Is this what's going on?
I think so, because I'm telling you, those close-ups of Styles' hands and all the dialogue about Derek's eyes. I think you're onto something. All right, number 10 on my list, the MTV hashtags. I like them. I think it's funny. I think it is a great way to engage their audience, because most of their audience is going to be on Twitter or something like that. And I think that it's a whole lot more fun than always just flashing up the hashtag with the show name on it. I'm all about the MTV hashtags. Kudos to you guys.
It's great in theory, but the ones that they need to actually have their interns do the hashtags, and no offense, not the old people, because I can totally tell that it's the old people that came up with those hashtags.
Could be.
I have a lot of Malia on this, and I don't know if I'm gonna lump it all together, but this one particular thing about Malia, no, it's two things, because it happened in math class. First, it's Malia's reaction of going to math class, because I literally remember in high school I had to do this to my best friend every single day. Like, she tried, I'm like, we're not skipping math. Get in there.
Can we just ponder for 1 second, though, that it is Styles telling someone to go to class?
Which is even more funny, the scene after that, a couple scenes after that. I just wanted Malia to raise her hand. When are we ever going to use this in real life?
I think that would be fabulous, but I think Malia's general goal here or plan is to be as invisible as possible in all things.
And the teachers ain't having it. They're not having it.
No. And that goes into other problems I've got.
And then she gets called up to the board and Styles tries to encourage her and she growls at him.
That's a number 6 for me. I love that moment. That is one of the best. That needs to be a GIF. It just does. Because it was just phenomenal. I love every part of it. I love his double thumb up, big smile thing. And then his reaction after she growls is like, oh man, somebody's going to die in this class today. That was classic.
Yes.
Loved it. Number 9 is a shocking one for me, but it is the reaction shot of Scott's face when he gets in class and he realizes that he just kissed Kyra.
Oh, God. That's the first GIF that I made for this episode.
It was classic. It was also really good acting. And so I want to get some kudos up there for Tyler Posey, because I totally believed his like, oh, no, what did I do?
Yes.
It was great.
Oh, I'm just going to go in on this. Peter. Oh. That's a new look for you. After Derek gets aggressive and flashes his new eyes at him.
Yeah, I thought that was good. Tad bit overacted, but good.
I'm telling you, this is how they want Ian to play Peter. Hammy as heck. It has to be.
But he's too snarky good to be a mustache twirler.
They want him to kind of, I guess, like, dad jokes. Because he's a dad now, I think. Maybe that's what's going on.
I don't know. But number 8 for me is also Peter, also the same scene. And it's when Peter refuses to get a job.
Yes! Literally my next one.
Oh my goodness. I was rolling. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite tweets of the night is going to have to do with that too. At Laurel put it, Peter Hale is literally willing to murder rather than get a job. Best Derek and Peter scene in a long time.
Best, I'll tell you the exact sense of the scene. Shut up. We don't like you. Now help us.
Yes. That is still one of my absolute favorite quotes of the entire series.
Oh boy. My next one, I guess I'm gonna go with, and this really shocked me. I'm not a ship or anything, but I kind of like Styles and Malia studying. And Malia being the aggressor, and like Styles being the one to say, let's study. and then we get her explanation of her study system. And then you look over and you see Styles' new wall of weird, and she copied it. His wall of weird system for her study system. And he notices it, and it makes him feel good inside. And then they start making out again, but whatever. I thought that was a really good moment.
But she stops it then. which I thought was good too. It's amazing how many werewolf skills actually worked. Malia could smell anxiety. Yeah, we've got Scott's werewolf vision. Yeah, it was a relatively consistent. It had good continuity when it came to werewolf senses tonight.
A little too good for those of us playing bingo.
Yeah, that's true. It made it hard to talk about those wonky werewolf powers.
Everybody's like, does this count?
Exactly.
I'm counting it. I'm eating a cookie. I'm counting it.
Gotta love you, Mary.
Oh, it was a good time. I had a little bit of a hangover in the morning, but it was a good time.
Oh, good. I warned you. Water. At least every other shot.
I know. Actually, it's for me, it's Powerade.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. What else can we talk about before we get into the actual good stuff? Oh, Lydia and Paris interactions. And have you ever noticed that they have a strong resemblance before? Because I didn't.
All I know is that everybody's shipping them, and that just cannot happen. Although I will say that Lydia and Paris are part of my number one for this episode.
Oh, yeah. Everybody has a weird theory about that too, by the way. I don't know if you saw those.
I did not.
Okay, I'll save it for theories then.
Okay, great. That works for me. If they're related and they make googly eyes at each other, this could creep me out even more. Just saying.
Luke and Leia. Cersei and Jamie.
Number 6 for me. Brayden and Peter negotiate. That entire scene was classic.
Yes.
Just phenomenal. Great dialogue. Good banter. I love how she can outsnark Peter because, let's face it, that doesn't happen very often. And then I really, really love how it was Derek that stopped the negotiations and just was like, forget this. We're hiring you.
Yes.
Go find some answers. Because I think Derek needs to be more assertive. It's what he needed when he was an alpha, along with a little bit more teamwork and people skills. But I really liked that they are giving Derek a chance to grow as well.
Oh, yeah. I also had that scene, but I broke this scene down because it was just too freaking good. And the first thing I want to talk about in that scene is the bonus points for Derek being amused at Brayden when she hands Peter his sass right back to him. He's just chuckling and he's looking at her. Because it's good to see Derek smile.
It is. He's laughing. It's what actually makes me worry most for Brayden's future, survival. Number 5 for me is the quote with Sheriff and Mama McCall. If this is everyday homicide instead of the supernatural kind, then maybe we can give them the day off from the world of murder and massacres, which is beautiful. I love how he's trying to protect his kids. It should automatically be that, you don't involve your kids in the world of murder and massacres, but speaking Hills, you just have to do what you gotta do. But then Mom McCall comes right back with, I feel for you both.
Okay, the next thing I want to talk about actually has to do with Melissa. I like where we're in the hospital and she's talking to Liam's stepdad and he's like, go home. Everybody knows Melissa does the most at that dang hospital. And he's like, yeah, just go home, get some rest. And she's like, yeah, before I go home, I got to get some dinner. And he goes, it's 7 a.m. And I just go, oh, Mama McCall, you are worked to the bone, sister.
Yes. Don't you feel her? I swear, it's like she's the only person at this hospital half
We
the
saw
time.
like what, three people at the hospital this week outside of patients, and one was a sheriff's deputy.
Yes.
Oh, Beacon
Who
Hills.
wasn't doing so well at the hospital himself. Number 4 for me. Malia and Coach bet on the practice.
Yep.
Oh, I love how Malia has zero idea of what's going on in that field. And quite frankly, I had no idea what was going on in that field either today. But I love how she's like queen of the trash talk. She may not get anything else, but man, she would be absolutely perfect in any kind of game. So I love how she did that. I love that. I want to know if Malia got her $10 because I'm guessing that she's not the kind to just forget it.
Oh my God, what if we see it in the next episode? She's in the office. Coach, my $10. I hope this isn't stealing your thunder, but the lie between Peter and Braden in the negotiation scene, she puts her boots up on the table. That table is Italian. They should have totally went with mahogany though. Just saying.
I thought they did. When I first heard it, I swear I heard mahogany. And then when I saw it the second time, I'm like, do they change it?
And then she goes, so are these boots. And then she goes, are we going to talk interior design and fashion, or are we going to talk numbers? And I'm like a boss. That's my Braden.
She's just fabulous. Everything about her is fabulous. I am so into her. I'm going to be really ticked off when they kill her off.
Shh. Positive thinking.
When they kill her off.
Shh. Positive thinking. But it's supposed to be a new day, and we can't go back. We're starting anew.
What about this episode tells you brand new day? Number 3 for me is a quote scene. It's getting my best awe moment. It's basically all good things wrapped up in one. And that is Stiles telling Scott that it's okay for him to want things for himself. I really like how he, first off, recognizes that Scott is not dealing with this, that he takes the time to say, hey, it's not your fault. He uses his logic to say that it really is not his fault, even though logic is not really going to work in this situation. I love that Scott realizes that worrying about being captain was not the most important thing. And then Stiles, boom, right there. It's okay to want something for yourself once in a while. Team captain, alpha werewolf, still you're only human. And I really, really like that. It is okay for Scott to want to be team captain, even though it bugged me to no end. And it was out of character for how I did it. It is okay for him to want that. It's okay for him to want a girlfriend. It's okay for him to want whatever. Just please don't make me watch it ever again.
See, it was so much. One of the best things about this episode for me is that it was so much Scott and Stiles time, and that's right up there. Like, I lumped it all together because it was just so much from, like, Stiles even admitted so much, like, you know, we have like 117 million problems. Why are we worried about lacrosse? Like, I like that they addressed it, but they're teenagers, and, you know, lacrosse is a big deal in their school, and you know, I do want some normalcy for them.
I do. And I was the first person back in season 3 tweeting out about how, remember when lacrosse was the only problem they had?
Oh, yeah.
So, and I understand that. I just think they need to balance it much better.
Oh, yeah. You mean not give us 91% of the episode being about lacrosse? And use it as a plot device on top of that?
Yes. Yeah. And then it's like we either get Teen Wolf or we get Wolf Teen Wolf. We don't tend to get in the middle Teen Wolf. And I think that we need to come up with a plan where they can still play lacrosse because we've got all these freaking new kids anyway. And they can still, if they have to, be their mushy little romance thingies, but make it a small part of the episode, not the episode itself.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. But back to the really good stuff.
I'm not changing my number 2. It's still Coach.
Okay. Still Coach for me too.
He was on fire.
Oh my goodness. His like terrible, awful, really bad. And then Stiles comes in panting. I have problems with that scene, but it still makes me laugh.
Better yet, he tells Scott, I'm about to vomit, take me somewhere. Oh, that's real friendship right there, buddy.
Keeping your brother from having the embarrassment of being passed out on the field. I like it, Scott. Kudos to you. Yeah, Coach is pretty much the best thing about most episodes he's in, and this was not any different.
Definitely not. I like even when he got hit in the stomach with the ball, I was like, oh, poor arrow scar.
I like how as soon as he gets hit, you know, he's in pain, but he's like, ooh, I want her.
Yeah. Somebody asked her if she's ever played lacrosse before, and I have problems with that, and we'll get to that. I'm sure you might as well.
Yeah. But it was classic. It was like, now here's a man on a mission. I don't care if I'm in pain. I'm going to have the best lacrosse team ever. Building or not.
Yeah, definitely. I'm curious to know what your number one was.
All right. My number one, I kind of lumped things together because it goes with the same theme. And it is the unusual pairings that we got. I like Lydia and Parrish together. I love Derek and Braden together, especially if they don't screw. I like Derek, Braden, and Peter together. It seems like when they weren't with the person that they normally are with, we had the best scenes. It could also be because it was the part that had the plot in it, but I thought that it was very well done. I like when they mix things up a bit. I would love if next episode or the episode after that we could get some Lydia and Derek time, because those two don't spend very much time together either, and I think that would be a powerful pairing.
Yes. Okay, this is my number one is really mean, but I don't even care. Send hate mail if you must. The possibility of Kyra actually moving away. Like, I don't want her to die, but I don't necessarily want her to be on Teen Wolf all the time. She could pop in on Christmas or whatever. But this every week Kyra on the screen, that made me happy. You don't even know.
I figured you might have something like that on there. I will say that part of that's going to be in my dislikes, but not the idea of them moving. If they could just rework her so she isn't so awkward all the time.
And a puppy dog? Like, I just can't. I can't get behind that.
And the fact that it's spreading like a disease.
It's mono, because they're in high school.
It must be, because it's a contagion, and it needs to stop. And you know, if this is truly going to be a rebuilding season, unlike what its lovely tagline says, then they need to rebuild from the foundation, not give us Allison 2.0 with a personality defect. And I'm sorry, that's mean too.
I just feel so bad for Art and Cho, because it's like everybody was excited about Kyra, and you know, sure, the shippers are still excited, but like people who actually like really love like just the people individually apart from everything else, like all the relationships and stuff, they're not feeling Kyra on that level anymore.
No, because they ruined her. She was supposed to be a kick-butt warrior, and now she's the awkward social girl who is probably standing at the corner of the school dance, twirling her hair and staring at her feet. That is not exciting to watch.
Not at all.
There are many issues with this episode.
So many issues.
I have 10, but my 10th one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts to it.
You are such a cheater, dog. And I love you for it. I love you so much for it.
It's just, there are so many things. My 10th one is plot holes. Hence the reason why there are so many of them.
That's the second villain of the night, by the way. Well, third villain, technically.
I was going to say, I probably have a different villain of the night than most people do. Plot hole questions. 1. Why does No Mouth need a challenge? Why is he giving fighting tips to the kid in the beginning? I mean, really, it's not like he was giving fighting tips to Mom and Dad. Does Sheriff have a 0 insurance? What the heck, Beacon Hills? You're not even protecting your civil servants? He ought to have some kind of insurance. This should not be the big issue that they're making it. Of course, money problems as a theme on Teen Wolf was not something I was expecting either. Malia's in the same math class as Lydia. Really? How many freaking times can Siles say family murdering axe murderer?
Yes.
Greenberg was held back. Really?
Again.
I thought, again, isn't he the kid that Coach said always did the reading, always did the homework? He's like the brown noser of the school. So how in the world can he be held back again? That makes 0 sense. Why are there that many people watching the tryouts? Really? We couldn't even go to tryouts if we wanted first place because the coaches would kick your butt out of the area. So it just seems weird to me. How did Scott and Styles get so terrible at lacrosse all of a sudden? It seemed like an out-of-character plot device to me, and I'm not cool with that. Why, oh why do you bring a civilian into the creepy basement and don't call the cops? Just why? And since when does Coach like Scott and Styles? those are my plot hole questions of the week. They are not as big as last week, so I guess that's a plus.
I'm just going to say it. I'm going to get it right out there. No Danny. Seriously, where the heck is Danny?
Number 5, it's lacrosse. If you're ever going to have Danny in there, it should be at lacrosse. That's basic. Danny's job is to, 1, be the gay guy. I'm sorry, that is his job. 2, take his shirt off as often as possible. It's true. And 3, be the guy in lacrosse that talks sense into the stupid jerks. What is up with that? That makes no sense at all. If you're going to have lacrosse, you have to have Danny. Buck up, pay the extra salary, or hey, here's a good idea, get rid of the new kids.
Thank you, Dawn. I literally was just fuming about that. Like, I kept going, okay, we were in the locker room, and I'm like, no Danny, no shirt off, no Danny, no shirt off.
No kidding.
Then we get to the field. No Danny smelling good, no Danny smelling good. Really? Really? Nothing?
At first I was like, ooh, that must be Nope. Darn. It makes zero sense. It was stupid. And it is pretty much the thing that most people in the fandom are in an uproar about. And they should be. Because that was just wrong.
Yeah.
Dead wrong. Yeah, that was horrible. Number 9. Scott has inherited Kyra's Hem-Haw disease.
Oh my god! I'm totally borrowing that now.
Seriously! It is like get the CDC before it spreads and not one person in Beacon Hills can complete a sentence. I have not seen more stammering in an episode in my life. Between Kyra and Scott, it was like 80% of their conversation was filler.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say, I don't even know how to put this, really. I'm just gonna say, I feel like, you remember how the tagline last season was "Lose Your Mind"?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Teen Wolf is actually losing its identity. It felt like so many different shows and movies in under 42 minutes. It was 41 minutes and 41 minutes and 1 second without commercials. And it felt like Supernatural. It felt like Saw. It felt like Buffy. Derek in his eyes felt like Grimm. The creepy mute dude kind of looked like Hellraiser's Pinhead. It was just all over the place.
I say he looks like Igor. A long Igor.
Oh, Frankenstein reference.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I will 100% agree. It was like they didn't know where to go with this episode. The entire episode felt like filler. And it's like... Again. We started with a really strong horror movie vibe. And then we went all ABC Family, for reasons I don't know. And then we end up with actual Teen Wolf.
In the last minute and a half.
3 minutes. We had 3 minutes of Teen Wolf. And, 37 and a half minutes of, I don't know what that was.
Genre medley.
Yes. Maybe that's it. Maybe this whole episode is an homage.
Uh-huh.
And that's why it didn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
That works, actually.
No,
okay,
Dawn.
now I've explained it. Please never do this again.
No fan wanking, Dawn. No fan wanking allowed in the issues part.
All right, number 8, I'm going to say my most controversial thing of the night. Send all hate mail to me. We had way too much of weird Styles face overload. I'm a fan of Styles' face. Not like in a weird thing because he is way too young. But I'm a fan of the work that he does with his eyebrows, his jaw, his eyes. He really is a good facial actor. But I swear I do not need Jim Carrey. It was like, if you look at the screen caps for this episode, it is one weird, whacked out face after another. Give it a rest. It was way too much.
I'm not going to co-sign on that, but you feel how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
I was so distracted by so much other stuff that Styles' face was just not on my priority list. Which, by the way, priorities was a hashtag.
It was. And I wish they had retained them.
Okay, my next one is... The opening scene took a whopping 5 minutes and 33 seconds, and it featured someone I didn't give a crap about, and it wasn't worth the introduction of the creepy mute thing. It just wasn't. I said it. I don't care.
I am glad I'm not the only one, because I'm looking down at this and I'm going, we're still in the intro? We are still in the intro? Oh my goodness, is the intro like the whole thing? That was incredibly long. And I get that they were trying to set the mood. They had the mood set pretty quickly. I really did not need the ever creaking staircase. Yeah, I agree. Then, it's a moment. My least favorite moment of the night. The Liam slow-mo helmet extraction. Seriously? Really? It's like the Kate Pantene commercial from last time. He's slowly taking off the helmet. He flips his hair just like he's in an Axe commercial.
Wait, are Axe and Pantene any of our sponsors? I'm gonna have to look into that.
Axe is on MTV a lot, so maybe. Because I swear, that's what it looked like to me. Like, we're going Axe there. I'm surprised that nobody sniffed him. It was just so lame of a character introduction. Terrible. Just terrible. And I didn't care about the kid anyway.
My next one is, I'm just gonna say it. Anything to do with lacrosse in this episode. It was too much. From Kyra in the lacrosse stick and smelling Scott's helmet or whatever the heck she was doing in the hallway. I don't know why she had that helmet. I don't know if she's on the team. I don't want her to be on the team. Just keep Kyra away from Scott and lacrosse and just make me happy. I know I said that like they do need some normalcy, but Kyra being a puppy dog after Scott on the field is not normalcy.
You mean you don't want her stalking him in every location?
Yeah, just call me crazy.
All right, number 6 for me is what I think is an incredibly legitimate question, whose only answer I can come up with is, plot device. Why exactly did Sean want Liam splattered off the roof? Because when we're looking at their food source, it wasn't like they were roadkill. They didn't seem to be, ground into a sticky paste. So Sean, who I've been calling random kid, so apologize if I do that, he goes to throw Liam off the roof. I get that. Great distraction. Instead of Scott going after him, he's now going to have to go after Liam. Perfect. Good. But why, instead of running away at that point to get away from the guy who wants to kill you, or at least the guy who's not so happy that you tried to attack his mother, why does he go to Scott and try to pry Scott's arms back so that Liam falls to the ground?
Maybe he was trying to make himself a Happy Meal to go?
You can't scrape dead kid off of a sidewalk very easily. It just makes zero sense to me. Yeah. But, there's nothing about this that makes story sense except writing to get to an end.
Here's another cool cliffhanger, kids. Tweet about it. Literally what it felt like.
Yes, that is exactly what it is. It was the only part of the episode that did seem like Teen Wolf, because, it's not Teen Wolf without something happening in the last 3 minutes.
Exactly. Okay. Overly long previouslys, especially since so much of it was from the previous episode that we just saw last week and had nothing to do with the episode at this particular juncture.
I will go a different route with that and say all the season 1 lacrosse stuff, which they then negated in the actual episode. I am going to substitute in my Where's Danny question. How is Styles so out of shape after all the running for their lives that they do?
I'll just say it. I'll say it again. I don't care. Kyra and Scott just gag me with a freaking spoon.
The 80s called for their lingo.
I know. That's my way of not cursing, okay?
Good for you. I will join you because number 4 on my list is also the kissed angst and the overall relationship hopping. I mean, really? It felt like we just hopped from one. If this was a porno, we'd have hopped from one bed to another. Because that's pretty much what we did. We hopped from Kyra to Scott, and then we hopped to Malia and Styles, and then we hopped back to Kyra and Scott, and then we hopped to Lydia and Parrish, and then we hopped to Derek and Brayden, and then back to, Scott and Kyra.
At least Styles and Malia was believable. You can kind of understand their relationship.
They were funny. And they actually brought us into a plot point, so that was good. And they were capable of speaking in complete sentences. So
the Hem-Haw disease ain't got them yet.
Not yet. And so help me if it does, I will be going away. All felt like filler. And that was way too much relationship junk for me. It was the focus. Just like lacrosse was the focus, the relationships, the romance was the focus today. And I don't need that.
Okay. I know we have to pay bills, but that's what we have commercials for. The return of the crappy music, and it was back with a vengeance. I don't know.
I gotta tell you, that's not where I thought you were going with this. For me, the return of the ever-present Nike symbol.
Styles' backpack, some gym shoes, the lacrosse shoes.
Every single person's shirt. It was like, gee, I wonder where we're getting money for this episode. Yeah, but the music was bad too. But there was no rave. That was amazing. In an episode this crummy, there was no rave. Score!
Oh my god, it's so true. When it's a crappy episode that happens, it usually is a dance party.
Yes! Yes! Or we go bowling. Either one. Alright, number 3 is a serious problem that I have. For most of the fandom, we spent a large part of season 1 angry at Jackson and thinking he's hot. I actually didn't because he was too young for me, but many people did. So it was like, oh, he's hot, man, he's a jerk. And a large part of the reason why everybody thought that Jackson was a douche is because he was cocky and because he kept trying to get on Scott because Scott was good at lacrosse. Now, season 4, we have Styles and Scott, and they are the new Jackson. It's ridiculous. They are now trying to basically, I'm not going to say that they were trying to hurt the kid, but they were certainly trying to make a point. And basically grilling him for being good, it felt wrong. It felt out of character, and I absolutely hate this part of the storyline. I don't need a love triangle between Liam, Styles, Scott, and lacrosse.
I told you everything about lacrosse in this episode. No.
It was terrible, and it is so out of character. I mean, and every single thing that Styles said in the preview is the exact opposite of what he told Scott to do in this episode. Or not previews, but previously. It just felt wrong. And I know that they're trying to make this about normal teens, and normal teens get jealous, we all do, but they went way overboard.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up and you addressed the serious issue of it, so now I don't have to and I can get to the funny. Absolute criminal act that Scott or Styles didn't ask Liam where he was getting his juice.
Yes.
Literally was waiting, and I'm like, really? We can do all this parallel to season 1, but we can't go there? Really?
That would have been hilarious.
It would have gave me some sugar with my medicine in that particular scene, because I didn't care for that scene at all. Any of the scenes with Liam and Scott and Styles.
Yes.
So petty, like, just...
Yes. Which leads me to number 2. New kids, period. Liam, who was cocky and annoying for, let's say 9/10 of the episode. I only liked him with his stepdad. That is the only time. And that's more score 1 for the parents again than it is anything about Liam. I don't care about him. Who the heck is this Garrett guy who suddenly shows up in a red shirt? If you're going to put him in a red shirt, you better kill him. I'm just saying. People said it best when they said, who are these new kids? They all seem to run together. Why not take advantage of the actors leaving your show? They had too many characters in season 3. Way too many characters in 3A. But they still had too many characters in 3B. We don't get enough time with the regular characters that we've been with since season 1. 50 episodes. And now you're bringing on this trio of blonde white kids, first off. who all run together and have zero meaning for me. I don't care that Liam got bit. I should care because it's going to affect Scott greatly. But I don't care one iota about this kid.
Oh, you said it so well. Stiles' odd fixation on how Scott kissed Kyra.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one who thought, is this really how guys talk to each other?
I don't think so. That's usually not how Stiles and Scott talk to each other either.
Yes, that is true. I mean, I see him talking about kissing Kyra. I mean, I think that's something that
not Stiles being like, did you use... I mean, he leaned in and asked him, did he use tongue?
Yeah,
he leaned in! No!
Really creepy and into my personal space, to be totally honest. I was uncomfortable for Scott.
I know! I don't know what that was about.
That was one of those wacky, bizarre filler scenes. Number one for me, the pacing. It was way too much teens being teens, way too much filler scenes. We got clips in that even my third time, I forgot they were actually part of the episode. And I was like, oh yeah, we did have Sheriff talking to Parrish for a second there so that we could see Brayden doing her, best Winchester moves. And we did see Kyra's mom freaking out about the open house that we didn't get any other context with. And it was like we had these brief clip moments that were 30 seconds or less that were completely forgettable. Then we had the long stretched out 10-minute kind of scenes, or at least it felt that way, that was basically people hemming and hawing over their relationship that added nothing to the story. It was slow. It concentrated way too much on stuff that ultimately doesn't have anything to do with the plot. And it is the reason why I do not like this episode.
Yeah, I could not agree more. Like everything that I've complained about, like the biggest ones was like the extended previouslys for stuff that actually had nothing to do with the episode. The 5.5 minutes plus the guy we didn't care about. Like 3/4 of the episode when she tells him at the hospital. Oh my god, and then the long stretches of lacrosse and then relationship, everything you just said. Yet I was literally rolling my eyes for most of this episode and looking for my next shot to take on the bingo card.
I felt like I was constantly on the edge of my seat for something to happen. It didn't even have to be big. I just needed something to happen. And nothing happened from the time we saw No Mouth to the time Lydia sees the moving paneling. That is way, way, way too long for an action show to have nothing happen. So those were my least favorite things about this episode.
Okay, my biggest one is Scott makes a beta and it's an accident. And it's Liam!
Well, there's my problem.
My heart broke for Scott. This is something in Scott's just heart of hearts he never wanted to do. He had it forced on him. It's going to be all these weird parallels and stuff. And, he still is technically an alpha with performance issues. He's still learning to be an alpha and what it means to be, quote unquote, a true alpha. We still don't actually know what that means. And I just literally was just really ticked off about this whole situation for Scott, on behalf of Scott. It's a hot mess.
It is a hot mess. And for me, it's not so much the making of the beta, but the storyline of the making of the beta that I am actually incredibly nervous about. Because, one, there is no way Scott goes through this without emoing himself halfway to death. There just isn't. But my bigger problem is this means that Liam is now a werewolf. Stiles already hates Liam.
It's Isaac 2.0.
It is, but I think this is going to be worse. We're going to be spending 8 more episodes with Stiles being jealous of Liam and it being a not love triangle, but a bromance triangle between Scott, Stiles, and Liam. Scott and Stiles are the foundation of this show.
I think that is going to happen, but I think it's going to be in the background and not the forefront because we have a lot of stuff and some hilarity might ensue from it. I mean, I give Dylan the absolute benefit of the doubt in a situation like that, because when Isaac was around, he seemed a little jealous, but we made the most of it and we got some funny ha-has out of it.
True. Very true.
And I know that he was a default, beta to Scott. Like, Scott didn't bite Isaac, but Isaac was feeling Scott in all kinds of ways, if you ask me. So, on more than one level.
Yeah. Well, he was definitely Scott's beta before he had a beta.
So, I don't know. I kind of trust Dylan over everything else in how he's going to present that particular material if that does present itself. So
I think that he will be fine with it if the writing is fine for him to work. If he's got some wiggle room, it will be hilarious, I agree. But I'm not sure that the tone is going to stay as lighted as it is, because Scott's going to be a mess.
I don't know. This might actually be... I mean, it's Teen Wolf. Of course, he's going to be a mess. But maybe Jeff wants to play it different, and this is going to help Scott become the true alpha he needs to be.
All right. So, main characters. Why don't we just go down the list? Scott.
I don't know. Like, I love Scott. You guys know that. And the thing that I found really weird, but totally Scott, but still kind of weird, was when... he goes after the Wendigo. And, this thing just attacked Melissa. Melissa basically gave him permission to kick its butt in more coarse words. And then in true Scott fashion, he gets up there, he's angry, then he takes a beat. Let me help you. That is the definition of Scott freaking McCall. Like, you just can't get mad at it. I'm sorry, I just can't be mad at him. He might have ticked me off with the Cure thing, but he kind of made up for it with that.
I do not like douche Scott at all. He's not my, he's not in my top 10. But I do like protective Scott. I like how he takes Lydia's advice and goes with it. I like how he protects his mom. I like how he doesn't immediately go run after Creepo Cannibal, and instead checks to make sure that his mom's okay. That's Scott. I like that. Mm-hmm. I liked Scott and Styles together in all of their parts, except for anything that had to do with lacrosse. So, but I am a little iffy on Scott because I don't want him to be Jackson 2.0, and that was just weird.
I think it was just for this episode. I definitely think that was a plot device. People, it's kind of like, I'm going to do a comic book reference, but it's a Marvel one. It's kind of like how Marvel does their ultimate, or used to do their ultimate comic books. It's, instead of waiting years and years writing to get the character where you want it, you can literally just start the title however the hell you want to. And this is basically what this episode felt like to me.
Cosmic character do-over?
Just for this one episode, though.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They can't be a douche. Well, at least Scott can't be a douche to him next time, because he's going to be feeling so darn guilty about everything.
And he's got to bribe him to keep his damn mouth shut.
Yep. That too. All right. Styles.
What? I liked him with Malia. That was the highlight next to being with Scott outside of lacrosse. It was funny. I don't know, but I'm waiting on a serious moment for Styles. He's just kind of been pittering around in the background, and I mean, I guess it makes sense since he had so much to do last season. But come on, it's Dylan. He's awesome. He's a heavy hitter on the show. And I like this. I like the small, funny moments, but I'm waiting.
I'm over it. I'm just absolutely 100% over the Styles as comic relief. Do I want him to be comic relief? Absolutely. I want him to be snarky for about 2 minutes each episode. But this is overkill. I liked parts of it. I thought parts of it were funny. Parts of it were way overplayed. If I'm going to talk about Scott being a douche, Styles was a major douche. And I'm not good with that.
2 episodes in a row.
Yeah. I really am not good with that, and I need them to tone it down. Or give me an explanation for it. If you want to change his character, good, go for it. But you have to give me some background. You can't expect me to just leap into this new Styles. Derek!
Derek! Oh my gosh, like I mentioned, it was great to see Derek smile. It was great to see him assertive. It was great to see him kind of hand it back to Peter.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of brief, and like, if this is seeing more of Derek, I'd hate to see their idea of not seeing Derek.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure that when they said that this was the season for Derek and Lydia, their idea and my idea was the same thing. Because he was too brief. But we did see him for more than 30 seconds. That's the first time this season. Yeah, I mean, for the first time this season, we've seen him for more than 30 seconds. So, you gotta hand kudos over to that. And I do like him working with Brayden. I think that, they've got to get Derek out of the loft. They need to let him work with different people, and they need to let him have strengths, skills, a practical reason for being part of the team. And it can't just be to cheerlead. So I think that they've got the developments here, the building blocks, to do something great with Derek, and I'm just waiting for them to do it. All right, Lydia. Fabulous.
Oh my gosh, like, we still don't see a lot of Lydia, but she is kind of interacting, and she's kind of being important because, she's getting in touch with her Banshee side. I'm kind of tired of the Walking Dead routine, but I want to explain. I want her to finally meet up with the other Banshee that we were promised.
And that we had. We had another Banshee, and now she seems to have disappeared.
I thought I read somewhere that actual Meredith wasn't coming back for season 4, that we're getting a new other Banshee.
Oh, well, I don't know. All I have to say is that it surprised me that Lydia was investigating on her own. And generally this is the time when I would be all like, are you crazy, girl? What is wrong with you? Use your brains. But I did like it in this one because she is the only person in the entire episode that was forwarding the plot.
And not at the lacrosse practice.
Yeah. She was helpful. She got information. She was, plot movement instead of regression and not filler. Yay! Finally. Generally when Lydia's on, she's either a plot device or filler.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a great example of Lydia being the team. The rest of the team was way off into their own little world to actually be involved in, the deaths. So I like that Lydia was there, that she partnered up with somebody who presumably could help if he doesn't turn evil. I hope to see more of that.
Just yay, Lydia, but I want more screen time for her. But I'm glad that she got quality over quantity, because the quantity side of the episode was not very quality.
All right, Malia.
Malia was absolutely adorable. I'm just smitten. I said it. Shelly is just breathing such fun air into Malia, and it's so believable. She's awkward, but she's guarded, but not with styles. Like, it just all kind of fits, and I just really like this interpretation that Shelly's given to Malia.
I agree. I'm going to describe her in a word that I usually use as a negative, but everything about her was just cute this time. And she's not a cutesy girl, which is why it's okay. And I just thought that, she brought her A game with Coach. She had a great scene with Styles. Loved all of the math thing. I mean, I don't think there was a scene in this episode that more people felt connected to than her trying to leave math class.
Yeah, relatable. Yeah.
I mean, she was the most relatable character in this episode, and it was well done. Somebody else who tweeted, and I'm sorry I don't have the name of the person or the exact one here, said about that scene with them studying, this is how you write a Malia scene. They have equal power. They're both consented in them. They look like... It didn't feel like she was trying to rape Styles, which was the problem with the conversation last episode. So it was just a really good balance. They play off each other well. And again, she is one of the few parts that moved things along. She called a halt to the freaking stuff with lacrosse by doing the challenge and letting Liam get hurt. End of tryouts. Yay! I can't tell you how much I air high-fived her.
Also, Lydia's notes. They weave that in as well.
Exactly. Of all of the romance scenes that we got, the only one that actually moved something forward was that scene with Styles and Malia and the notes. Now we know at least they know something's going on with Lydia again, and we can start on an actual plot, some actual action.
4 episodes later.
Yeah. So, and Malia, again, is a big win for this episode. She's been a big win for this season.
It's crazy. Like, this is the new girl. Like, they totally have dumped Kyra, and they're like, we're just going to work on Malia, and we're going to make Kyra the focus of the fandom hate, because we know how much people have been asking for Steric. That's my theory.
I think she's going down like a stone because they will not allow her to be a character outside of Scott.
And that was my problem with Allison for a lot of it, too.
Yes. I mean, Allison was about as kick-butt teenage female as you could get, and they made her all about Scott.
Like, remember when we thought that she was going to go explore and be the matriarch, and then...
Yes.
Wah, wah, wah.
Mm-hmm. And that actually is one of the most troubling things about season 4 for me, because it tells me that the writers did not learn their lesson. And if we're going to keep repeating history and keep making the same mistakes over and over again, we're going to get ourselves into a supernatural situation. They need to revive Kyra as a character. Now, they had Kyra and Malia together this time, so it is that they're trying to play these female relationships together. But when you look at it, when Kyra was with Lydia last time, the conversation was all about her and Scott. And then in this one, it's all about her and Scott. They're not giving Kyra any character that doesn't revolve around Scott. And it's a sucky way to write a character. And it's not fair to the actress.
It's really not. Like, I love Arden, but I told you, the best thing about this episode is the possibility of Kyra moving. Like, I don't want to see Kyra dead, but I don't necessarily want to see her in Beacon Hills anymore.
It's too much, and they need to grow her as a character.
I don't want to talk about the side characters because they were just the new kids, and we've kind of ragged on the new kids.
Yeah, I don't like any of them. Villain of the week, Jeff Davis.
Ooh.
Jeff Davis is my villain of the week for allowing such an unbalanced episode to go through.
Yikes. My villain of the week is Scott's teeth. Because it's the gift that's going to keep on giving until the end of the season and probably longer. And by the way, he used his mouth to hold on to the kid. Like, just let him fall. That would have solved all our problems right there.
Yeah, that would have. Yeah. I really do hope that Liam grows on me. All right. Season progression. We got the no mouth. We got Lydia's handwriting. We got the bite. Anything else? No, we got Brayden on the job.
That's about it.
Yeah, but, well, there's the last 3 minutes. That's the season progression. But yeah, not a whole lot. All right, theories.
Okay, as I kind of made mention earlier that we might not have, it's not looking like we're going to have Meredith back for season 4, and that Lydia needs, like, we were promised another Banshee. A lot of people were theorizing that Parrish is not only a Banshee, but a death Banshee. Because he hasn't heard her cries previously, and he said he felt drawn to the area, kind of reminiscent of what Lydia has said before about her powers.
Okay. Why don't you give us a little bit of background on the difference between a Banshee like Lydia and a death Banshee?
He just can't hear her screams, like, it seems like Lydia's always hearing something off in the distance. Like, it's not her imagination, it's actually something calling out to her, and it kind of felt the same way with Meredith.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, he just can't hear those calls just yet. Like, his powers haven't been activated, maybe, or something like that.
All right. That would work. I like that theory a whole lot better than the fact that he's going to end up being either the benefactor or a major player for the benefactor.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with evil Parrish theory. Sorry.
episode awards. What grade did you give it?
A C minus.
Me too. What is up with it?
Oh God, this is season 8 Supernatural all over again, Dawn.
That is just weird. I gave it a D minus on the initial watch. Did not like it at all in the original watch. I was considering it one of the worst of all times. It was the bowling episode. But I liked it better in the rewatch when I was already used to the idea that there was going to be no plot movement and no action.
Yeah, it was disjointed and out of character and just everything I didn't care about. It just went on and on and on. And that C minus is really generous, by the way.
A C minus is an actual grade for me this time. It's not padded like it has been in the last.
Oh, mine is padded.
What's your MVP? Or who?
Malia. Hands down.
I'm giving it 2 unusual pairings. I liked it, and they're the only scenes that I really, really liked. Alright, best character interaction.
Oh, man. Sappy, Styles, and Scott, when Styles tells him that it's okay to want things and that he's only human. Funny haha. Styles and Malia, where she rolls him over to kiss him, and he says, we gotta study.
I'm gonna go with Styles and Malia also, and Derek and Braden and Peter.
Definitely. That was my best scene of Teen Wolf in a long time, honestly.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but it was definitely one of the best parts of the night.
Well, I love Derek, and Derek hardly ever gets good scenes that aren't out of character or come out of left field, so...
Best reason to watch?
It's Teen Wolf, and it did actually have some of the classic trademark Teen Wolf humor. Like, I've been missing it. I've been missing a little bit of the cheese, as I mentioned last week, but I overdosed on it, so I'm good. Let's get back to the main event.
The promo for next week.
Ooh, shots fired. Dawn is like, she ain't playing no games. Her gun has got no safety.
I mean, really, that is what I look forward to the most, is when I was getting ready to recap it, I was looking forward to watching the previews for next week the most. So, that was my best reason to watch.
Oh, okay. So this award is a little personal. It actually goes out to my best friend. Best reaction to the end of a Teen Wolf episode via text message. A Wendigo? Question mark. A Wendigo! Exclamation mark.
All right. My award goes to the strangest new character, Lacrosse. It's an actual character.
I don't think so, mister. I've seen this poster in Styles' room on more than one occasion, but I just don't buy that Styles is a fan of the band All Time Low. Sorry, nope.
I think it's funny because every single week somebody mentions it. The Charlie Brown Award goes to Scott and Kyra because every single time they talk, I hear wah, 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 in my brain.
Consequently, Scott and Kyra are my best reason to fast forward.
Me too! Along with Lacrosse.
You forgot to name drop your product placement. Since when does Scott put so much product in his hair? That was like some 1999, 2001 duckbill hair gel issues going on. Like, I was just like, this is not the Scott that I know and love. What is going on? Definitely douche Scott. I mean, I guess that's how we're going to know if we're going to get douche Scott again. He's going to have too much product in his hair. Maybe it's cutting off the flow to his brain. The gel just hardened real tight. I don't know.
I will qualify this episode in the same way that I qualify Supernatural. This was a terrible episode, but it was still better than a lot of stuff that's on TV. It's never going to be my favorite, but it's also not reality TV.
Well, that's not really saying much considering how we both feel about freaking reality TV. I haven't watched reality TV literally since season 1 of Survivor.
I don't watch reality TV at all, unless you consider Cold Justice, which to me is just more like watching two people who are competent at their jobs. So, it's a rarity on TV. But anyway, I do think that they've got some places to grow in here, but it's Teen Wolf, and I can't accept Teen Wolf boring me, because it rarely does. I mean, I can take the plot holes, goofy questions, even sometimes the questionable canon and continuity issues, but I can't take it boring me, because I don't expect it. And this was completely unexpected. And that was my biggest issue.
So I did check the email as well. Look at me, I'm on fire this week. But don't get happy, it's empty. But that's okay, because guess what? You still have, 8 more chances to leave some some email. And if you want to do that, you can go to teenwolf.smgpod@gmail.com. You can live tweet with us. We are both on East Coast time, even though I'm on the West Coast right now. Live streams are awesome. And the official Twitter for our podcast is at Beacon Hills Pod, and that's me. And then, of course, you can live tweet with Dawn.
Mm-hmm. At Dawn1, at DAHNE1.
And if you are on Tumblr, please feel free to stop by. I am updating this weekend, so if you're looking for some cool GIFs and screen caps, come on over to welcome to Beacon Hills podcast.tumblr.com. And funny enough, if you would like to go to Facebook and find us, guess what? Welcome to Beacon Hills. We try to make it pretty easy for you guys to find us and interact with us, because we're looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And you can always find us at southgatemediagroup.com. That's where all of the Southgate Media Group podcasts are. Lots of great ones. We're starting a whole lot of new ones, so check us out there. And remember, if you thought this episode was just absolutely fabulous, please, please, please let us know why. Please, really, let me know why. So that's, we welcome all kinds of views, and we promise that we'll be very nice when we discuss it.
Yeah, and if you like this podcast and you have iTunes, please feel to rate, review, and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated.
Absolutely. That brings us to our shameless plugs and wrap-up. My thing this week is the Character Cup. It is a new contest. Well, it's reviving an old contest, but we are starting it on Sunday at s4e3.com. And basically, nominations will have been shut off by the time this goes up. And we will start with 64 of the most nominated characters, 1 character per show. So that means that there's a lot of different fandoms that'll be covered. It looks like Styles will be one of those. So please, please, please check out the Character Cup. Each day we'll have characters going head-to-head against each other. The polls last for 24 hours, and then we go on to the next day's poll. It's a fun, fast way to celebrate TV and to get some great conversation going about what is usually a slower time for TV discussion. We also have our bingo game, so if you didn't play along this week, in which, yes, I got a bingo, woohoo! Then you can most certainly go to our new bingo one. There'll be a new card each week. And as a matter of fact, I've actually printed 5 different cards, or posted 5 different cards on my blogger. So you can choose the one that you think will most likely be there. If you have other things you want to add to our bingo game, please do so. And you can check that out at Dawn1, DAHNE1.blogspot.com. It's also always attached to the best scene poll, and that is found at s4e3.com.
Very cool. I'm actually starting something pretty cool on my blog. I feel like I have been doing a disservice to my favorite type of genre TV show, which is sci-fi and fantasy with a strong female lead. So I'm going to be binge reviewing and watching Lost Girl, Haven, Orphan Black, and since Dominion can kind of go in there too, and I really like the female lead on that show, I'm going to get all caught up with that and start doing a weekly review for that as well. So if you are into any of those shows, or you have a suggestion for a show that I should watch that falls into that category, all the information is on my blog, which is littlelovestv.blogspot.com, and loves is spelled LUVS. And you could just tweet me, which is just at Lil Hellfire.
Well, I think that is it for us today. So, thank you very much for listening. We hope to have you back again. And until then, avoid lacrosse, stick with your pack, and remember, it's Beacon Hills.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.